Okay, it's bad enough that fibroids can be fed and grown from stress, anxiety, negative emotions, right? Trauma, pain, and things that we may be holding on to, negative memories. In my situation, I've had experience with getting caught up in cycles of self-blame, of negative self-talk, of guilt, of shame, because I ended up having fibroids. And a lot of women that I counsel and that I coach and that I come into contact with, I find experience that too. It's something that you really want to address early on, and don't underestimate the power to self-heal by something as simple as auditing and addressing your thoughts, auditing and addressing your outlook on your situation with fibroids at present. When we're speaking about doing something like reversing sickness and disease, shrinking fibroids naturally, you really have to factor in approaching your situation from a vibrational standpoint. You want to be able to not just look at things in terms of what's healthy, what's not healthy, what is alkaline and what is acidic, what is clean eating versus processed, but you also need to be able to flip and pivot and look at things from a vibrational standpoint. What's high vibrational, what will contribute to low vibrational outcomes in my body and in my life, or like low vibrational resonance as far as your own frequency, because that affects everything that you're seeing in your waking life. So for example, when we are allowing ourselves to get caught up in a cycle of guilt, self-blame, and we're finding ourselves comfortable, always defaulting to thoughts where we're shaming ourselves, constantly condemning ourselves because we have fibroids or for any other situation, we are vibrating very low. We are allowing ourselves, our thought process, our attention to be consumed by very low vibratory frequencies. That will contribute to your success or failure at shrinking fibroids, your success or failure at lessening the severity of any symptoms, not just for fibroids, but also any other sickness, disease, ailment, body aches and pains, sprains, whatever, back pain, things that we're holding on to, memories, our own negative thoughts that are of the less desirable, that are of lower vibratory frequency, are also keeping us in a situation that we do not want. The longer we allow ourselves to focus and give our attention and energy over to these negative thought patterns, these negative vibrational behaviors, guilt, shame, anger, anxiety, stress. So it's imperative that you adopt a plan for stress management, as well as something a little more sophisticated, because there is also areas in our lives as we move about in this realm and grow from being a child to an adult, wherever we find ourselves, we collect memories, we collect, whether we are aware of them, subconscious memories and negative patches of energy that are being held in our non-physical aspects of self as well. And if we are not doing anything sophisticated, a little more intricate, that doesn't have to be complicated, but certain activities like engaging in yoga, doing something that addresses stress management that resonates with you. For me, exercise happens to be one of those areas, but not to say that you have to overdo it, but just simply being active in a way that activates your heart chakra will help you to manage and keep your energy centers balanced and help your body to more easily expel and disconnect from the negative thought patterns, from those negative vibrational patterns that we usually find ourselves going into when we don't have a uniform set of activities and habits to address the negativity that we may have collected from past situations and everyday present situations as we move about our lives. All right, it's time for what I eat in a day. Nothing fancy here. I'm just showing you a few things that I had today to shrink fibroids. Okay, in this smoothie, we're starting out with a handful of very nourishing dark leafy greens. This is just a basic field greens mix. And then I have 1 leaf of baby bok choy for the cruciferous veggie element for liver detox and liver support. I've made this one before. I make this one often. So you may have seen this recipe before. I have a knob of ginger in my hand. You don't need too much, but this is about the size of my thumb, I guess you could say. And then I also have half of a Gala apple chopped up. And then I'm going to squeeze the juice of half of a lemon in over this. And then I'll show you what else I have in the next clip. All right, so now I've added 1 pitted date. And then I have a frozen blend of strawberry, banana, and a little papaya. My liquid base for this was almond milk. I blended everything up to perfection. Of course, if you want to know all of my superfood supplements for this recipe, you're going to want to join my private monthly membership or grab my Green Goddess Fibroid Detox Smoothie Powder to optimize your smoothies for fibroid detox, just like mine. But this is the finished product. Whether you grab my products or not, this is still a liver detoxifying natural fibroid elimination recipe because it has that bok choy, those dark leafy greens, and all those nourishing fruits and veggies, right? As you can see, I definitely approve. This was really good. Make this smoothie. You're going to love it. Give it a thumbs up. Super good for your womb wellness, for boosting your fertility. If you do make this, let me know. Let me know if you were brave enough to put a leaf of the bok choy into your recipe, and I will do this happy dance. All right, let's move on to everything else that I had. This was a simple flatbread wrap. It's an alkaline wrap. That's my doggy Gigi. So I will drop the recipe for this alkaline spelt flatbread that you can make yourself. If you need bread for a recipe, this one's pretty good. I do recommend it. Cooks up pretty fast too. But basically, I just loaded it up with my favorite sauteed mushrooms, some fresh avocado, small tomatoes, and black beans with some dark leafy greens. And this was so good and so fresh. Something you may want to add is your favorite vegan sauce. Maybe a cashew cream or a tahini sauce, some hummus, salsa. Next thing I had was a half of an open-faced chickpea smash sandwich topped with some red onion, tomato, green pepper, very good, crunchy and fresh, sliced cucumber on the side, spelt bread underneath. I also had a taste for some nachos per se, but I knew I couldn't have the nachos. So number one, the corn, if you don't already know, the majority of corn is GMO, which is a big no-no for hormone balance. So I sliced up some sweet potato. I coated them in a little olive oil with Celtic sea salt and some cracked black pepper, and then I just roasted them in the oven. So then I topped them with black beans, fresh cilantro, avocado, tomato, everything basically that I would want on nachos. The only thing that I'm missing is a vegan cheese, which I would have made, but I was out of coconut milk. So then I decided to go all in the direction of salad, and I added a bed of field greens on top of this, and I decided to go more of the olive oil and a light salsa style dressing route. That's just kind of the flavor profile that I was into at the moment. So that's kind of how I ended up taking this dish down. But this was so refreshing. Isn't this such a pretty plate? Now, this next dish that we're going to jump to is an example of how I totally remixed these ingredients and made an entirely different meal that satisfied a different food style craving that I may have. How resourceful you can be. This was another meal that I had this week. And again, you can see the profile is pretty similar. I had some sweet potatoes. I put them on a kind of a vegan salad bowl with black beans and tomato, cilantro and cucumber, fresh avocado. This is the remix, basically. Pretty much the same ingredients profile in a whole different setup. But I literally got 2 meals, and this was very cost effective using these same ingredients. That was my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.